It's no secret that since 1988, Hasbro's attempts at creating a full-size Transformer with a gun mode, especially a realistic one, would more than likely be shot down. Which doesn't exactly bode well for a certain Decepticon leader known for turning into a real-life pistol. In 2006, Transformers Classics brought us this Voyager-class Megatron, which partially worked around the legislation by turning into a weapon based on the Nerf N-Strike Maverick Blaster. Since the Nerf brand is also owned by Hasbro, it makes sense that they went there, but why that gun? Well, whatever the reason, it's a good match, from its basic shape to the ridged handle, albeit more so compared to the actual blaster. Even this transparent green section references the Maverick's rotating barrel, complete with paint apps alluding to slots for Nerf darts. The main difference between this and the actual Maverick is the sizable and well-detailed scope up top, which even has working crosshairs if you peer inside. There's also this small square, which may have been intended for a rub sign, in case these giant Decepticon symbols didn't cut it. I said partially worked around the legislation earlier, as despite being based on a Nerf gun, that alone would not satisfy US safety regulations. Even those toys have to be vibrantly coloured so as not to be mistaken for legitimate weapons. The smoke white in place of grey or silver, and black is as close as this could get to the G1 Megatron deco. However, instead of red, we have a vibrant green and purple. I guess the Constructicons built him first after all. But it's not like he's never worn those colours before. You also have gold highlights, and to cap things off, safety orange. Barring that last colour, it's an appropriately toxic and evil palette. For other gimmicks, if you count the working scope as such, we get a spring-loaded clicking trigger. Though obviously nothing fires. I gotta say, I can't find fault with this mode. I mean, I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's a modern full-sized Megatron figure with a gun alternate mode. How much cooler can you get? Well, there's the fact that they were even able to get a robot out of the Nerf Maverick. With a catch. Classics Voyager-class Megatron is a shell former. For those new to the word, it's a fan-made term for a transformation where the robot parts are merely wrapped inside a shell of what they become, as opposed to said parts being integrated into their alternate mode. There is some of the latter here, with one of Meg's legs forming the handle and his other limbs situated around the gun. Everything else is concealed inside giant twin panels that make up the barrel. If you're against robot modes with back kibble this prominent, you'll probably be disappointed here. I'm used to it now, but I can see some finding these wings a huge deterrent, whether it's cause G1 Megatron never had them, or they just think they're ugly no matter the character. They can be adjusted, though given their sheer size and weight, the figure is a bit on the back-heavy side, especially when trying to pose it. Not helping is that the hips are on wide-tooth ratchets, meaning he has trouble standing straight. You basically have to do the pelvic thrust. If you can somehow work around these setbacks, Megatron has 15 points of articulation, consisting of a ball-jointed neck, swivels below the shoulders and above the knees, and ratcheted shoulders, elbows, hips, and knees. With his cannon permanently underslung, aiming it over the arm results in... Actually, this doesn't bother me much since, awkward as it looks, well, they're robots. They're not bound by human anatomy. Whatever issues Megs has with posability, the aesthetics are something else. With features like his bucket helmet, the fusion cannon mounted on his right arm, and the legs resembling pistol grips, you know who this is, even with the more vibrant colours. The head sculpt even bears the monobrow of the Generation 1 toy, a bit goofy looking, but a nice nod either way. And while some might find the wings visually distracting, others might see this as a positive, in how their prominence, combined with his giant arm cannon, gives Megatron this foreboding presence that suits a tyrant. One detail I noticed on his right-hand side is something resembling a sequence of bullets stored inside a bandolier, not only a potential reference to his original Walter P-38 form, but since it's on the same side as his cannon, is this the source of his firepower? If that was intentional, props to that. While Megatron is my least favourite of the three Classics Voyagers, he's also the most special, hailing from a time when getting a full-sized weapon transformer was, and still is, a legal headache. For that reason alone, I highly recommend this, though it's not like the toy doesn't have its own merits: solid alt mode, dynamic looking robot with decent enough articulation. If you're all about the G1 colours, then you'll want to shoot for one of the Japanese redecos instead. Otherwise, Reveal the Shield Legends class Megatron is the closest we're getting to a full recreation of the original design in both modes. From Hasbro, Takara have been more successful, as we're about to see in video 400.